Walking through the woods at night, you hear many things. Bats high up in the trees, frogs croaking, and the sound of leaves crunching beneath your feet. But in these woods in Hendersonville, there are some sounds that give you chills up your spine and make the hair on your neck stand up. It might not even be a sound, just a feeling that you get when you know there is something around but you aren't sure what. The difference between you and me is that I know what it is. I know the reason for that feeling that people get when they are walking through these woods. How do I know? Because I am the reason. There once was a girl that stood right where you are standing. Imagine it. A little girl with golden curly hair wearing her favorite pink dress. She was just playing in the woods in her backyard. Alone? No, she was playing with me. We had the same hair, eyes, and we even had cute matching dresses. We were playing the usual games kids play. This time it was hide and seek, which was my favorite. The little girl didn't like this game that much, but I always convinced her to play it. This time I knew I was going to win. I told the little girl exactly where my hiding spot was, knowing she would go in there to look for me. This time, the little girl never came back out. I made it look like she just ran away, leaving no trail behind for others to follow. Of course, I was the cause for her disappearance. I had the perfect plan laid out for the longest time. I was just waiting for the right moment to strike. And trust me, I found it. But I didn't realize how lucky I was going to get. That little girl never went back home again. She didn't come home running to her mom when she heard her name being called. Her mom called for her once, no reply. Twice, still nothing. After a few more tries, she got concerned and told her husband. It was getting dark, but they still headed into the woods to search for their little girl. They knew the exact area to look in, as they had found the girl there plenty of times. But this time, it wasn't the little girl that they found. Her parents expected her to be playing games with their doll. Well, I was playing a game, and they couldn't win. The little girl's parents headed towards my favorite hiding spot. It was in between two tall trees with bushes concealing it. I knew they would find it eventually. As they got closer and closer, I got them. They were more of a challenge, but I never lose. When the neighbors came to visit a few days later, all they found was an abandoned house. The food and the dishes were still sitting on the table. If the neighbors didn't know this family very well, they would have wondered why there was an extra plate set. But they knew who it was for. That dinner guest was sitting right beside the little girl's seat, waiting for the little girl to pretend to feed her. The dinner guest was me. I look like a doll, but on the inside I'm so much more. I have more power than you could ever understand. That's why I'm able to do what I do. On the outside, I appear like every other doll you might own, with the pretty curly hair and the sparkling eyes. But that's just one form of myself to cover what I really look like. I turn into your biggest fear, the shadow in the corner, the ghost of a loved one, and sometimes all it takes is having them stare into the dark until they drive themselves insane. So next time you go out into these woods, don't forget about me. I'm always watching, waiting for the right moment to strike. I always win because I'm able to turn your biggest fear into a reality.